Welcome to Epic Battles, Siege of Minas Tirith. Hello and welcome everyone, Lionheart here with my brand new series Epic Battles, and I thought what better way to kick off this new series on my channel, something I've wanted to do for a long time now, than with a Siege of Minas Tirith, a truly epic battle. And that's what this series aims to be. I'll try and do one of these at least once a week, and obviously it will be with other Total War YouTubers. You can find out the ones in this battle down in the description, and I'll talk you through who's playing as what in a moment. But feel free to leave a comment down in the comment section suggesting what scenario you'd like to see as the next epic battle. I'll try and do one each week, along with more online battles on my channel. I'll be doing them as battle replays, and I'll try and get lots of cinematic shots as we go on through, especially on the newer Total Wars which support cinematic cameras, etc. Apologies if there is some lag in this. Medieval 2 is quite an old game now, and the scenario we're playing here at Minas Tirith is rather demanding. So it may go to a bit of a lag fest later on, but we'll see how things go. But as you can see, we've now approached Minas Tirith's main gate. Catapults shooting at Gondor's walls. So, I'm playing as Harad, Warrior Sparta is playing as Run, and Rambler is playing as Mordor, and we are against Jackie Fish as Gondor, and Pixelated Apollo as Rohan. Now, because obviously this scenario that we're fighting here at Minas Tirith, we've set in place some timers. So Pixelated Apollo as Rohan cannot enter the battle for 10 minutes or so. These are kind of approximate times. 3 or 4 minutes after that, I can move my 2 units of Mumakil at the back into play, and I can use them. And 3 to 4 minutes after that, the Oathbreakers can be deployed. So to start with, it's just Jackie Fish trying to hold the White City against the hordes of Mordor, Run, and Harad. You are men of Gondor.
Men have done well. The gates have fallen.
Whatever comes through that gate, you will stand aground. And in come the cave trolls. And behind them a wave of orc filth. The walls begin to break. Hello, Gandalf. Jackie Fisher's Gandalf as his general at the moment. He's throwing his ability up, trying to inspire his men. Meanwhile, across the walls, the siege towers are making their way. Orcs spilling out onto Minas Tirith's walls. Tumbling out onto Gondor infantry. Can they stem the tide? Only time will tell. Our forces have to try and reach the 3rd level of Minas Tirith to win this scenario. Got to go through this archway and claim this square. We can, of course, come up from around the other side if we want to, as we make our way through the White City. You can see the forces now moving on through. Trebuchets firing from multiple points on Minas Tirith's levels, but the wall has been breached, and now Mordor's Olag High will race on in. Through the smoke clearing the wall's debris, armored trolls. They move to make their way up the levels of Minas Tirith, chasing Gondor spearmen. Fall back to the 2nd level. There will be no dawn, men. In charge the Olag High, through spears, crunching, breaking, all will fall.
Our siege towers have reached the walls. Let our foes try and stand in the way of our might.
More towers have made their way. The walls of Minas Tirith will fall. Breaking through the courtyard and moving more forces up towards the second level.
The siege towers are at the walls. Did our foe think he could hide behind them forever?
And from the top of Minas Tirith, see the hordes assembled. I would love for it to be filled with huge armies, as rendered in the films, but this is already taking pretty much everything the game's engine can offer and what my PC can capture. But I still think it's a pretty epic scale. I mean, the maps as well. Minas Tirith is beautifully crafted. Third Age team, supreme. They've done a fantastic job. Really brought it to life. Many levels of Minas Tirith. You can see Mordor and Rhûn assembling their forces, ready to face the Rohan charge. And they'll be with us soon. But a fearsome threat dwells to the east. Mumakil. Meanwhile, the gate is broken. Orcs tumble their way through, a few Gondor archers desperately trying to hold off the Mordor, Rhûn and Harad tide. Meanwhile, the push towards the second level has begun in earnest. Cave trolls wrecking through Gondor archers, pushing their way up the White City streets. But a horn is blowing. And in the north, across the fields of Pelennor, Rohan has arrived. Mordor scrambling its pikes. Pikes in front, archers behind. They'll try and charge the Mordor line. Thundering across the plains. Supported by Aerling swordsmen at the rear. But in their cavalry comes. Will the halberds be enough to stop them? A volley of archers from the Aerling horse archers. In charges Rohan. Flanking round with Riddermark skirmishers onto the Uruk archers. Rohan seeks to break the lines of Mordor and make safe the city. The initial charge is done, they pull back to rally themselves before another charge. Rhûn still holds the flank, but Royal Guard have broken through to make safe the city under the towers. Now they see opportunity to strike the catapults besieging Minas Tirith. But the Haradrim have called up for their most fearsome beasts, and they now stomp across the plains to meet their Mordor brethren. To their Rhûn allies, and smash into the line of Rohirrim, Mumakil. Huge oliphant beasts, with hides built on top, strapped with harness. From Harad they march, supported by the Loch Inas Rim. Rhûn. The Riddermark skirmishers stand no chance from a charge of Mumakil. Riders of the Fold, more missile cavalry, exposed on the flanks. The Mumakil will charge. Mighty beasts, arrows flying in all directions. And stampede through the Riders of the Fold. breaking Rohan's line of cavalry, charging to help Mordor's halberd line. Erling axemen slowly try to rise, but are knocked down by halberd slashes. Royal Guard trying to make their way through, but the Mumakil are destroying, decimating the Rohan line. Rohan's line breaks. Their leaders left, strewn across the battlefield. Cry of the Nazgul can be heard. Blood dripping down the Mumakil from fallen foes and smashed horse. Flick of their tusk. The Rohan fall. The Rohana horsemen make one final break towards the troll catapults, but the Mumakil are on them. Trolls on the catapults unleash their fury on the Rohan horse masters. But all is not lost. For while Rohan men lie dying, broken and bleeding across the field of battle, a new terror is marching toward the lines of Harad, Mordor and Rhûn. Oathbreakers. An army of the dead. Unbreakable. Nearly unkillable. Stories speak of flame and fire from a catapult that can potentially weaken the Oathbreakers. But only weaken. Only very slightly. Mordor, Rhûn and Harad's forces outside the walls of the White City must reform their lines and get ready to charge the Oathbreakers. While they cannot defeat them, they can delay them, and if they can delay them long enough, Minas Tirith will fall to their combined forces. The Dark Lord Sauron will be victorious this day. The White City will fall. The age of man will be over. Streets of Minas Tirith littered with Gondor dead. Mordor, Harad and Rhûn forces push through to the second level, Olag High breaking through Trebuchet. Dust clouds still show the advance of the Oathbreakers. The lower level of the city is truly under our control. Just one unit of Gondor archers left unopposed in the streets. The orcs crave man-flesh on the higher levels. Mordor's catapults showing that the Oathbreakers can be burned. 4 falling. And while the Mumakil make a desperate charge, stampeding through Oathbreakers. A charge that would kill living men, but not the dead. They merely rise once more and continue their march towards the walls of the White City. Mumakil fall. Brought down by Oathbreaker fury. Despite the efforts of the Mumakil, the Oathbreakers cannot be broken, and they charge on through, their ranks unbroken. Flaming shot, catapult screeches across the battlefield. And they now march unchecked and unchallenged towards the gates. Will they free the city? Will they make it safe? Will they bring Elessar home? Charge on through, slaughtering, butchering men of Rhûn, rocks. The Nazgul cry shoots up from the city. In charges the last of Rohan's cavalry, desperately trying to open a path for the Oathbreakers to push through. Many Mumakil have fallen.
We must turn the wind of battle, or we will taste ashes instead of victory.
Yet still the Oathbreakers march, streaking across the field towards the gates of the city. More orc looters charge on in to attempt to delay them, hoping that their forces can be successful on the second and third levels. Those Oathbreakers just carve on through. The cries of orc and man litter the field. And the dead men charge on through. Mumakil fall. And the forces outside the wall begin to break. Rohan still holds some units outside the walls, but the Oathbreakers' march cannot be hindered. Mumakil go berserk, broken and terrified by the Oathbreaker march. They have nearly cleared a path to the city gates.
The accursed enemy has slain our ally. We must look to our own soldiers for victory now.
And Run's general falls, but a surge is occurring. The second level of Minas Tirith is nearly under control. Olaghai the last charge into Gondor archers, pinning and holding what's left, while the rest of Harad and Mordor's forces and Run inside the walls march up to the third level, try to break towards the tunnel that will take them through to the city square and capture point for victory. Up they push, up they drive. The mountain trolls long dead, the Olaghai still holding on, still battling. Yet Gondor's hope remains. The sea of green still marches ever closer to the broken walls of the city, the lower levels strewn with Mordor forces. They will surely hold the tide of Oathbreakers back. But now the Oathbreakers break on through more lines. Archers left out in the field of Harad and Mordor are broken. The lines of Run, troubled by continuing assaults from Riddermark skirmishers, are unable to send aid. But a sea of bodies is already filling up outside the walls. God only knows the sea of bodies that stay inside. Horse, man and beast lie outside the walls of Minas Tirith, and the rest of Run and Mordor's forces pull back, try and aid those in the city, but the Oathbreakers cannot be stopped, and they charge towards the opening in the wall, troll catapults fleeing into the city, and the Oathbreaker charge begins. Try now to free their city. Corsairs try to hold the walls. But the Oathbreakers cut through them. A ship on the water.
must turn the wind of battle, or we will taste ashes instead of victory.
Rest of the forces try to push up into the city, just driving home. A constant stream of orcs makes their way now to Gondor's forces, desperately trying to hold the pass under the mountain. Through to the other side of the city, Citadel Guard bravely holding on against orc looters. But the tide of Mordor, Harad and Run is nearly unending. How can men stand against such evil? They will be broken. The fields now look calm as the fighting moves closer to the city walls. The last of the Oathbreakers now pushing their way in. A sea of green floods through the broken wall of the first level and the gateway. Orc looters unable to stop their flow. Bandits now being employed by Run. Anything. Try and stem the Oathbreaker fury. Streets lay the slain bodies of man, orc and troll. And this guy. We'll call him Bob. Broken Gondor archers flee beneath the tide of orc looters. Through the second level's gate. Up past the trebuchet. And Mordor sends forces round to flank Gondor's forces on the upper levels. Uruks charging on through to neutralise the trebuchets. Meanwhile, the Horn of Gondor can be heard from the upper levels. Gondor's general charged on through. We have Gandalf, who, for some reason, his model has not fully formed. He is ethereal almost. But he is there. I'm Gandalf the White. Citadel Guard holding back a tide of uncountable. That's even a word.
Did our foe think he could hide behind them forever?
Countless numbers. Orc, Uruk, and evil men press themselves against the Citadel Guard, forcing a way through, carving a path. As they have heard the screams and cries from below, and the Oathbreakers now charge. They have made safe the gateway, cleaned it of Mordor filth, although troops remain at the base of the walls, looting and raiding and pillaging and burning houses nearby. The Oathbreaker march continues unchecked, unchallenged, until they reach forces piling out of the second level's gate, moving on down. Run, Mordor and Harad send forces to try and waylay them longer, for all that remains for them to do is press through the Citadel Guard. A gap is formed, a few orcs stream, trickle through. And soon it becomes a flood as Gondor's archers make a stand. But Gondor's strongest troops, the Fountain Guard, are still here. Still ready to defend the White City. They need only hold a little longer for the Oathbreakers to make it up the walls and save their city. But Mordor's tide is strong. Will they be broken? Or will they seek victory? Stelgard, fighting bravely till the last man, hewn and broken and clubbed and smashed under troll, orc and man. The Fountain Guard break the Uruks that have charged on through. Their pikes down, tight in their formation, ready to meet now the tide that flows on through. The Citadel Guard can hold no more. In comes a troll. Straight on through to Gandalf. The teeny tiny torch in his hand. Will he break the White Wizard? Troll falls slain by the general's bodyguard. Yet Mordor rallies its forces. From the second level, taking an alternate approach, Rook's charge against Gondor archers. They are not alone. From the second level, as the dust clears, a sea of green appears. Rohan's cavalry marching into the city, followed by Oathbreakers. Streaking up, try and meet the tail end of Harad's forces. Meanwhile, the countless numbers of Orc and Uruk, evil men, push towards the Fountain Guard, bravely holding back numbers 100 times their size. And Gandalf holding them at the gates, the tunnel. Yet Mordor is pressing towards the square with Uruks flanking. And Rohan will try to make the city safe.
Our men no longer command the city.
The Uruks pressing towards the citadel capture point. The city capture point, rather. Broken by Gandalf's cavalry. Yet the tide is never ending. Trolls smash, hew, and break. Fountain Guard beneath their feet. A brave last stand for the men of Gondor. Clearly Gandalf's wearing troll musk. He's certainly attracting them. Oof! That was a swing. Uruks race into the capture point. Charged and broken by Rohan's cavalry. there only remains a few. The army of the dead, the Oathbreakers march through the second level. A split push. Their forces, pressing from both sides, they mean to reinforce Gandalf's troops and hold the city a little longer.
Our men have taken control of the city.
The Oathbreakers now carving a path through the rear guard of Mordor's forces. Run taking the brunt. Harad and Mordor pushing through.
Men no longer command the city.
A desperate battle for the capture point. The city's heart begins on the third level. Serpent bodyguard from Harad charge on in. Try and make it safe. Gandalf, trapped, makes a brave last stand as Uruks pile on in.
Our men have taken control of the city. Units, advance!
While the last defenders of the city are trapped, Mordor's forces to send some to the third level's gate. Try and hold back the Oathbreakers. While exhausted, they show no signs of it. The dead do not rest. They charge on through. They've made such progress before. Harad and Mordor throw as many as men and orcs as they can muster to stem the tide of Oathbreakers, because if they can get to the centre and stop the capture of the square, Mordor's push will have been for naught. And behind, an Oathbreaker makes his way through, attacked with axe and blade and spear and thrust, and yet he still stands, bent and broken.
Curse the sun that shines on our disgrace. We must turn the wind of battle, or we will taste ashes instead of victory.
Oathbreakers now beginning to push through the tunnel under the mountain, weaving their way through the Run, Orc, and Harad lines. They will not be stopped. They pull through their enemies.
The enemy's general lies dead. Now his men can sense their doom upon them.
And Gandalf falls. The passing of the White Wizard. Now victory is nearly assured, but still the Oathbreakers push. Can they make it to the square? Such force from more troops arriving. A stone's throw away. Does it come too late?
The leader of our allies lies slain. Pray his troops do not lose their will to fight.
Witch King slain on the battlefield. Black Númenóreans charging on in. Stem the undead tide. Can they be broken? day belongs to Harad, Run and Mordor, the Dark Lord victorious over the White City. Gondor this day has fallen.
But only by a sword's edge. This battle may have been any man's.
The Battle of Minas Tirith is over. So, I hope you enjoyed this first epic battle, guys. Apologies for the, at times, horrific lag, but nothing we can do about that. That is the game's engine. As you can see now, everything is paused. It's actually rather smooth. We can see the carnage outside the city. And obviously the stats on screen, which we'll go through in a moment. Minas Tirith broken. The first level fighting was insane, intense. Those Oathbreakers, I reckon maybe another 3 or 4 minutes and Jackie Fish may have been in a position to break us. Thankfully, we were able to hold long enough with such a huge push and blob of forces that he couldn't break through. Nearly had 1 or 2 making it to the square. Very close. But anyway, let's just sit atop Minas Tirith. Take a look at these stats. So, we had 3,000 odd men each under our various forces. In fact, we had over 10,000 men deployed here against a defending force under Denethor of 2,457 and Theoden with 1,464. So my force, I managed to kill 974. I lost 2,000 men. I was throwing myself in there and trying to pull units through. The Witch King managed to get the most kills. Be interesting to see what the Olag High got. And Run lost the most men. And they were caught outside and obviously broken by the Oath Breakers. Got the fewest kills, but they were playing a key role. Warrior Sparta was playing a key role there in trying to delay and hold up those Oath Breakers. And he was the last army to enter. So mine and Mordor's forces under Alex Rambler would have been the first in there getting the kills. But I think we did pretty well. But well played to Jackie Fish and Pixelated Apollo. You know, they nearly had a... I mean, if they played out the rest of the battle, the timer there, we probably... I reckon they would have won the Army of the Dead there. Unfortunately, this only shows the statistics for my troops, so you'll have to go check out Warrior Sparta's and Rambler's version of this, see if they've shown you how many kills those Olag High got that Rambler had there. So I hope you enjoyed that first epic battle. As I said, feel free to leave a comment down below with suggestions for scenarios that I'd feature in my next epic battle, and also if there's specifically other YouTubers you want me to collaborate with in these epic battles, do let me know. But I'll probably try and get a regular bunch together. And yeah, feel free to suggest those scenarios. I hope you've enjoyed this one, and I look forward to doing some more very soon. So until then, don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, follow me on Facebook and Twitter, take pride in joining the Legion, check out my affiliates and sponsors, all links to them are in the description. Until next time, ciao for now.